Hey guys, it's Maddie. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I'm going to be introducing you to all of my rescue pets and telling you their rescue stories. If you guys have seen my Meet My Pets video, you probably have seen the animals that I'm going to show you today, but I didn't go in depth on their rescue stories, so I thought I would share them with you today. Some of the stories are pretty sad, so if you guys are easily upset, this might not be the video for you, but obviously all of my animals that I'm going to show you today are doing fantastic and overcame what they were going through at the time, so they are all healthy and happy now. If you guys haven't already, please take a second to hit the subscribe button down below and become part of our family. I post animal videos every single week. So without further ado, let's get started and I will introduce you to my first rescue animal. This is Brandy. She is my 8-year-old mixed breed dog that I rescued when she was only 8 or 9 weeks old. If you guys have seen some of my other videos with Brandy in it, she really does not like being filmed or being in front of the camera. I just don't think that she likes sitting in one place for too long, so I thought I would introduce you to her really quick here, but I'm going to let her lay back down because she clearly does not want to be sitting up while I tell you her story. I was only 10 years old when we rescued Brandy. Yeah, we had just moved to Ohio about a year ago. The thing that I asked my parents for when we were moving is to get a big dog because I always really liked big dogs, but we never had one. So my parents told me that when we moved, I could get a large dog. When I was 10 years old, I was on petfinder.com, which is a really great website to find rescue animals. If you guys haven't used it before, I highly recommend it. It shows a lot of rescue animals in your area. So I got on petfinder.com when I was 10 and I was looking for large breed puppies. I came across a litter of puppies that was pretty close to me, about an hour away. So I told my parents and I begged them to get the puppy. And eventually they said yes. At the time, I wanted a bigger dog to be more of a companion for me because I felt lonely and I had just moved to Ohio, so I didn't feel like I had too many friends, or I didn't have friends that I had had for a long time, so I wasn't sure if they were going to stick with me or not. So that's when we got Brandy. We got her in May of 2009 when she was 8 or 9 weeks old, I can't exactly remember. But we got her from a pound. It was literally still called a pound. They actually, I'm pretty sure, ended up shutting down this branch of Animal Pound. It was a kill shelter, essentially. We had gotten there and I had looked at Brandy in particular and she was the one that I wanted. She had other puppies in her litter. They were all named after alcohol. So there was Brandy, Whiskey, Tequila, Margarita, and Rummy, I believe. I think that was all the ones that were there. But we got there and she was actually on pretty much her last day of being alive. She had been at the shelter and the shelter was full. The cages were packed with dogs. It was absolutely disgusting. There was probably 10 dogs per cage. They were in runs that went outside, and I went into the room not really knowing what I was looking for, and what we saw was really disgusting. It smelled terrible. Obviously the shelter was just overcrowded. They were probably doing the best that they could for the conditions that they were given, but obviously there was a lot of dogs in not very big of space. So I went to the first kennel and a lot of dogs were just running around in the kennel and playing and wrestling, but one little puppy came up to me and it was this little black puppy, and I was like, oh, this one's really cute, but I'm really here to see Brandy. And the lady who had walked us back was like, oh, well, that's Brandy. And I was like, absolutely perfect. So we picked Brandy out and I held her and my parents were like, are you sure this is the one you want? I think there was a litter of purebred Australian Shepherds that had gotten surrendered there, but I was like, nope, I want this one. She was disgusting looking. Her fur was all like greasy and gross, and she was only 2.5 pounds. She was absolutely itty bitty, and she was really, really bony. You could tell that she wasn't really getting to the food very well amongst all the other puppies. And she also had a ton of worms, so it was really gross and she smelled awful. But we took her home and I think she threw up on me on the way home. So this is her background. Her and her litter, and I believe also her mother, I can't remember totally correctly, but I'm pretty sure it was also her mother, were thrown into a farmer's garbage pile from a moving car, and only a few of them made it. I don't think the mom made it, unfortunately, but Brandy was one of the ones that made it, and she was also the last remaining puppy of the litter at the shelter. So it was absolutely perfect, and we got her and she was fine. And I remember my dad telling me, because he was not really big on rescuing, he was like, oh, well, they're gonna have all these health problems, all these issues when you first get them. He was like, I'm not really sure if she's gonna make it. And me being 10 years old, that is like the worst thing you can hear, that your brand new puppy isn't going to make it. But obviously she made it, and she's been absolutely totally wonderful the entire time. She's had very minimal health issues ever since we started her on a good quality food, and she's barely aged at all. She's still super puppy-like and loves to play. She's really nice with everyone. She's a therapy dog now, obviously. She was my service dog, and if you guys want to see that video about why I had a service dog, I posted that last week, so you can go check that out. But she turned into this absolutely beautiful, wonderful dog that does great things for the community, and she did great things for me. And it's just been a pleasure growing up with her. And I hope that we have a very long time to spend together yet, because she's still going strong and not really showing any health issues. So that's fantastic. But sorry she wasn't in the video too much, because she doesn't like being in front of the camera, but I don't like pressing her to be in front of the camera when she doesn't want to be. I don't really have many pictures of her as a puppy either. When we got her, obviously I didn't have a phone, I was very young, and my family had like Razor phones. Those were still things. The videos I'm about to show of her when she was a puppy were on an old YouTube channel of mine that I made when I was very young, obviously, 10 years old. So you can see a couple of those videos now.
Come here, girl. Come here, girl. Sit, both of you. Good. Okay, ready? Hey guys, I just wanted to show you Brandy now because she's like a lot bigger and biting. She's getting a lot bigger. Shinier and cuter. Cuter by the hour. Aw, look at that little puppy face.
Alright, next rescue pet I have is my cat Romeo. I rescued him from my local Humane Society in 2012 when I was 13 years old, and he was around 7, we're not exactly sure. I usually go to the local Humane Society to just look at what animals they have, and sometimes I would go in and play with the cats because at the time I wasn't really a huge cat person, so I wasn't really super worried about getting super attached to a cat and wanting to bring it home. It was a Saturday in November of 2012. I went into the animal shelter after I had gone to the dog park with my dogs and my friend and my mom, and we all picked cats that we wanted to get out. So my mom and my friend picked these little kittens that they wanted to get out, and I found the fattest orange tabby cat ever. He looked so sad, his eyes were so sad, and he was so sweet. He was just rubbing up against the edge of the cage, and he was absolutely adorable and so fat, and his name was Tiger. And after we played with the kittens, we got Tiger out, and Tiger laid on his back on my lap for like an hour and let me pet him, and he was purring, and he was just absolutely so sweet. And Tiger ended up being Romeo. So we didn't get him that day. I came back on Monday. The shelter's closed on Sunday. I came back on Monday with my dad, and we played with him, and I was like, this cat is unbelievable. I've never met a cat anything like this cat. He's, you know, like one of a kind and just so nice. And then I think we ended up adopting him on a Wednesday. We put him on hold and then talked about it as a family, and then went back and adopted him late on a Wednesday night. The shelter said that he was a 1.5 years old. But later on, our vet determined that he was closer to 7 years old, which is okay. I didn't really care about the age too much, which puts him at about 12 years old now. I've had him about 5 years. I don't exactly remember all of the reasons the shelter said that he was surrendered, but I believe he lived in an apartment, and one of the reasons was that he was getting on the counters too much or something. But also when we got him about a year in, we noticed that he was dripping fluid from his butt all over the place, and it smelled terrible. So I think that could have been another reason. The anal gland surgery to get his anal glands removed was pretty expensive and kind of risky, but obviously we got it done and it went fine. He's doing great, and we got it done a couple of years ago. But that could have been another reason they got rid of him, because it was really gross. This cat is absolutely perfect for our family. He's very low-key. He loves spending time with us, and we love spending time with him. He's very friendly with everyone and my dogs. He is our other animal that goes to nursing homes frequently, and he makes everybody very happy. People that do therapy programs usually bring dogs around, so they're always very excited to see a cat. And so he has a pretty big fan base at the nursing home that he goes to, and it's really cute to see. A lot of people really like him and get really excited. They're waiting for him by the door when we come in. It's really sweet. That is my cat Romeo, previously Tiger, and that's his rescue story. Next we've got this small little snake. This is Noodle. He is about a 1.5 years old. He is a amelanistic stripe corn snake, and I got him back in July of 2017. I got him from a friend of a friend who was in college and didn't have too much time for him. But the big thing about Noodle is he had not eaten for 8 months when I got him. It amazes me how long snakes can go without eating, but I was absolutely appalled that he had not eaten in that long because of how young he was and how small he was. She had tried frozen thawed with him for a very long time, and apparently he had taken it when she first got him, but then stopped taking it and just never went back on food. So when I got him, I put him on live food. After a couple live feedings, he developed a pretty good food response, and I put him back on frozen thawed, and he's been taking frozen thawed like a champ ever since. That's Noodle's story. It's not too much of a story, but basically he was a stubborn little snake that went off of frozen thawed and just needed a little bit of motivation to go back on. And he came to the right place, and now he is a good little boy, and he's eating well, and he's super healthy and shedding well, and he's just a cute little character. The next animal we have is this adorable little rat. This is Parker. Some of you may have seen the video of when I first rescued him. He actually came on a dog and cat transport from West Virginia. I got him when he was much younger, probably only a few months old at that point. He and a couple of other rats were actually abandoned in a local park 120 miles away from me. It's absolutely disgusting that someone would do that to these guys. They are not wild animals, and ooh, thank you for hitting me in the face. These guys are not wild animals. They don't have the natural instincts to survive in the wild, nor do they have colors to blend into their surroundings to really give them any chance at survival. So luckily for Parker, he found his way to someone's house and was trying to get into their house, or had made it into their house, I'm not exactly sure. And he was caught and taken to a local no-kill nonprofit rescue where they reached out to Louie's Legacy Animal Rescue, which is the organization that I volunteer with, and they know I love rats and that I keep rats. And then Louie's contacted me and asked if I wanted to take him, and I said of course I'll take him. And so they put him on the transport, and he drove all the way here from West Virginia with the, thank you for the kisses, handsome. He drove all the way here with all the dogs and the cats on the transport, and he was the first rat in Louie's Legacy history to be rescued. So that's where he's from. He's been doing absolutely fantastic. He's a really sweet boy. As you can see, he's given me all kinds of kisses. Unfortunately, I'm not sure what happened to the other rats that he was released with. I can't tell you if they were rescued or if they made it or not. I did tell the rescue that if they were able to get any of the other rats captured that I would take them, but unfortunately I never heard anything back. So I'm not sure if they got them or not. And he gets along really great with my other boys. So it's fantastic that they were able to capture him and give him another chance at life. The other animal that I have that I can't show you is my beautiful Tegu, Deja. She is about 4 years old, I believe, and I actually got her from someone in Kentucky who kept her in a closet in a Rubbermaid tub. If you watched my Tegu care video, you know that Tegus need a very large amount of space, which is not what Deja was being kept in. I'm not sure if she was in proper lighting, but she definitely was not in proper conditions when I got her, which is why they were getting rid of her, because they couldn't provide for her. But she was an adult Tegu being kept in a tub, basically. So I got her and she went into a 6-foot cage right away and really enjoyed it. And it was kind of sad because they didn't have any substrate in the bin with her, and Tegus really like to burrow. So they had her on towels, and I'm not sure exactly how long she was on towels. When I put her in the enclosure and gave her all the substrate to burrow in, she didn't burrow in it. And it was really confusing to me because I'd come downstairs and she'd just be curled in the corner completely exposed, which is weird because the Tegus that I've had previously always would bury themselves. So I put some towels in with her and she immediately buried under the towels. Now she is fine with going under the substrate like a normal Tegu would, but at first she was just strictly burying under towels and old shirts and stuff that I would put in with her. When I first got her, she wasn't the nicest Tegu. I don't really think they spent too much time handling her, but I definitely put a lot of work into her and she's turned out to be a very sweet Tegu. Obviously, I don't have her out because she's in hibernation right now. The videos and pictures that I showed you is when she was first rescued. But yeah, that's Deja's story, and now she is in a very large enclosure and she's a very happy girl, and she's a very sweet girl as well. I take her out into public and people love petting her and they kind of freak out when they see me holding a huge lizard that they have no idea what it is. It looks like a tiny dinosaur. She's fantastic. She's just a great Tegu ambassador and I just love having her. So that's the story of my Tegu, Deja. So I hope you guys enjoyed hearing some of the stories of some of my rescued pets. If you guys have any rescued pets, I'd love to hear their backstories. I know it can be kind of emotional and very sad, but I think that rescuing is a great thing, and if you guys are looking for a great animal, you can always go out and try to adopt one. There's tons of animals that are always looking for homes, not just dogs and cats. So if you guys are looking for a great pet, I suggest that you adopt an animal. And thank you guys so much for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up. You can find all of my social media in the description down below, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!
Happy birthday, Merry Christmas to the one I call my missus. I'm leaving your love notes in the kitchen, say it all. I know you said to mind my business, but Cupid sent me on a mission that's got me sitting, wishing, waiting for your call.